What I have here are all of the pieces that I used to figure out the mechanics of the card, and it was a lot of trial and error, just like working things out until I finally come up with a layout that I was happy with. And then also at the same time figuring out the artwork and how to make it work, alongside of like just making the mechanics of the card work as well. Here I have all of the tools and supplies, printouts, and templates that I need to construct this pop-up card. As far as tools, I have a multi-purpose Elmer's glue, scissors, a ruler, a clicky pencil, and then something to score with. You can even use like an empty ballpoint pen, but it must be completely empty of ink. And so these are the pieces that will pop up out of the card, and then I made an additional bookmark to make use of all of the paper. So when these stick up, they will have a design on the back of them. And then over here, this is the base of the card, this is the outside, and then this is the inside. And then the templates, these here help me line up the first part of the pop-up, and then this one over here helps me line up the secondary pop-ups, and then lines, guides to score the pop-up pieces themselves so that I can flawlessly reproduce this over and over again. So let's get started. Right here and right here I have score guides so that you will get a much neater, cleaner fold. And flipping the ruler over just allows me to get right up nice, tight, and close to the card. Otherwise there's a bit of a gap, and this tool can sneak underneath that gap, and I do not want that to happen. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and proceed and cut out the rest. Usually I would just use my paper cutter, but because this is such a hands-on project, I'm just going to go ahead and do everything by hand with an X-Acto knife. And now we get to enjoy the beauty of that score line. And one of the rules with pop-up cards is to make sure that your folds all fold smoothly in either direction. That will help with the function and the unfolding, the opening, and the closing of the pop-up itself. So now that I'm pleased with that, let's move on to these guys. First, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the individual pieces, and then where I can, I will use a ruler and an X-Acto knife or the scoring tool to get my scores in, and then my perfectly clean straight line cuts in. I just like to trim off the excess to make it a little easier. This next step is to go in and mark out the score template areas. And originally when I was doing this, I was just folding this over and then taking the tool and just scoring. But because it's slowly deteriorating the quality of this template that I want to reuse many times over, instead I'm going to try this new method here where I just take it, line it up, and then I made divots in the template so that I can just take a pencil in between and mark out where I need to score, and I'm doing it on the back side so that you don't see it like the pencil marks. And we'll see how well this works, but do know that it's an option to go in and just take your scoring tool and just go like that, and then you'll have your line in, but it does slowly erode the quality of the template piece itself. And now that the lines are nicely scored, it will make the foldovers much cleaner and neater. And once again, fold in both directions. It'll make the functionality of the card move much more smoothly. And then I'm just going to do that with this one. So that's ready to go. And let's just do our folds. And these are, again, like the mechanics that I worked out during my prototype phase. It was quite an extensive process, and I really can't show you that process without filming hours upon hours of trial and error, and that just would not be all that interesting. And one more set of score lines that I need to do are for these tabs here. They actually fold under. So let me just line this up. Perfect. And give it a nice score. And then I'm going to do the same on this side. Perfect. There we go. And then gently fold under, and then the other direction, and then the same with this side. Now we're ready to start gluing. I have my base here, and then my first template that I line up to put the top part of the phoenix on, and I just make sure that it lines up with the crease, and I'm going to use paper clips to hold this in place. Perfect. And then the way this will connect, it will slip in right here, just like that. You have to make sure that your gullies all line up. Your creases must all run parallel together so that they can fold smoothly and seamlessly. And then you're going to take your glue, and you don't want to oversaturate it, but you do want to make sure that every inch, every bit of your paper is covered, and just use your finger to smooth it out right to this edge. It's very, very important that you cover the whole surface area of this tab and go right up to that fold, just like that. Make sure you keep this finger free so that you're not sticking it on everything. And then you're gonna bring it and you're gonna line it right up to the template. I'm gonna stick this one side down first that doesn't have glue, and then go ahead and bring in the glue side, and that looks perfect. So then I'm gonna go ahead and start smoothing down the glue part. I'm gonna wipe my finger off of the excess glue, and then go ahead and remove these paper clips because I no longer need this part of the template. Again, make sure push down so it's nice and smooth, and then we're gonna take this piece and we're gonna fold it over to glue this part down, because when we glue it down, we're going to bring this card over and push it down so that it glues nice and smoothly. And that's how it's going to line itself up with the other side. So let's go ahead and do the exact same process with the gluing. And smooth it down, and you're just going to let the other side find its natural sticking place. Just smooth it really, really good. And take your finger, have a piece of scrap paper or a damp cloth beside you so that you can clean off your finger so that you're not getting sticky glue everywhere and ruining pieces that you don't want to have glue on. So let's go ahead and open this up, and voila, look at that. Perfectly lined up. And now I'm going to take this secondary template, and I don't need the paper clips this time. I'm just going to line it up just like that. And with this template here, I marked out where my next lines go. This is where the secondary pop-ups will line up. I'm just going to draw lines because these are going to be glued over anyway and you're not going to see them. And so now this one will line up right here. You just line up that fold right there just like that and glue that down first. And then this one over here, you'll do the same thing. You'll just line up this fold right here. So let's go ahead and start with this first one, and try to be mindful to not use too much glue. It will be a really big deal if it squishes out everywhere and sticks more things down than you want it to. So if you have any excess glue, if it feels like it's going to squish out, just make sure to wipe it on your scrap piece of paper, which I'm doing right now. And then you're going to take this and we're going to line it up with this line that I drew right here. I'm just going to push it down, and that's perfect. And then go ahead and you're going to accordion style this fold down just like that, and that's how it's going to fold. And we're going to put glue right here, but only up to about here because this part is going to stick out above this part of the card and won't have any place for the glue to land. And remember to get the glue right up to the fold line so that the card can function at its best without a mechanical failure. Again, wipe your finger on a scrap piece of paper for the excess glue, and then we're going to bring this down to find its natural sticking point. So just like that. Now I'll switch vantage points so you can see that I'm just smoothing this part down so that we get good contact with the paper and the glue, and it naturally folds down in this state. So when we open it, just like that, ta-da, it opens like that. And then we're going to find its natural sticking point by folding it down like this, and then we're going to fold it over onto itself. And remember, like this top portion that's sticking out right here, this piece right here will not make contact with any paper. So I'm going to make sure to not glue that part. And these folds that I'm making with these flowers, actually all of these folds are called V folds. If you want to look up pop-up tutorials, this whole card consists of what are called V folds. And here we have the finished card. That is just spectacular. And every inch of this card has taken advantage of expressing the collection with the designs on the back here. One could always finish and include the back of the Phoenix, but I really wanted to include as much of the collection as I could. I think this did a really great job as far as a wow factor and a presentation. And actually there's just one more step left that I want to take that will finish this card. So I'll be right back. The final step was to put this sparkly spray that you can see here on the card, and it's all over it. It's just a little difficult to catch in the lighting here. So this spray is called Glitter Shimmer Spray by Krylon, and it's Opulent Opal, and the color is like this clear iridescent sparkly color on the cap. Like I said, like it's so much more sparkly than what the camera is picking up. There you go. You can kind of see it here on this bookmark. It just adds that little extra to it. As a creative, I'm always on the search for keeping things from basically being boring, and I love this style of presentation, and it's certainly one that I'm going to add to my arsenal. I love pop-up cards, so it was just a natural fit to pursue making my presentations into these beautiful pop-ups.